are reporting from Chandbagh area, and this is the epicenter of the violence that happened for the past 2 days.
We are in Bhagirathi Vihar right now, where the police patrolling behind is taking place. There are several shops which have been ransacked. All of the areas, the stone pelting took place heavily.
We are with the paramilitary forces who are now carrying out a domination exercise in Babarpur. Now, Babarpur was in fact hub of violent protest.
अमूमन पूरा स्थिति अभी शांतिपूर्ण है, नियंत्रण में.
The police officials clearly saying that since morning, the smaller incidents have come to light, but no major incident has come to light, and they are trying to ascertain the facts on the report that has come so far.
Good evening, viewers. Over the past 4 days, Delhi has witnessed the kind of violence that the national capital has not seen in over 3 decades. Lives have been lost, livelihoods completely destroyed. We're bringing you stories of rioting, of arson, of stone pelting from various parts of northeast Delhi. We've shown you stories of death, destruction, and complete mayhem on the streets. Our colleagues have been reporting non-stop from volatile hotbeds, putting themselves in harm's way to bring you these stories, to bring you these lasting images of destruction. And tonight, the last word is about them. In a world where neutrality has increasingly become muddied, where stories are reduced to just binaries, and where facts are sacrificed at the altar of colored narratives, it is these people who make it possible for you to see the truth as it unfolds. Tonight, the last word is about our reporters and video journalists who have been working in the most challenging of times. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not easy covering a riot, unlike what social media warriors or armchair experts would like you to think. Tonight on The Last Word, we tell you why. Joining me on this very special broadcast, it's Mirror Now's reporters Alok Singh and Ayushman Kumar, and also the invisible heroes of any news channel, and they don't get enough credit for what they do. It's the video journalists who are also the true stars of our news channel. It's Anil Arora, Pradeep Kalita, Imran Abbas, Manoj Singh. Also joining me in the studio is Mirror Now's managing editor, Vinay Tiwari. Vinay.
Good evening, everyone. And there's a question that everyone might ask watching what we are doing tonight, which is, why are we putting 6 people who've actually been bringing you the images of this massive violence that has happened, and violence which I consider possibly the worst since 1984 that Delhi has witnessed. So why are we doing it? We are doing so because I think, much like what Aarti said, the social media and people who sit in drawing rooms and tweet don't quite understand that before they criticize and heap abuses on media, which possibly comes from all sides nowadays, they don't understand how difficult it is to actually be at the site where mobs are running amok and the police is looking the other way. Both of the sites that we saw in plenty over the last 3 days. These 6 people who you see on the screen right now are not just people that belong to Mirror Now, they belong to the fraternity of media. And in the last 3 days, a lot of media people have been attacked. They've been shot, they've been stabbed, they've been assaulted, they've been victimized, they've been asked to actually prove which side they are on, and they've been asked to do many things that most normal people will find impossible to fulfill. It's a job that is tough, it's a job that's demanding, and it's a job that is risky. And it's also a job that's possibly the most important in a democracy, which is to tell people images and events which the governments or even the police would not want you to see. And a lot of what happened in the last 3 days over Northeast Delhi are images that possibly people didn't want to see, Aarti.
Well, absolutely, Vinay, very well said. Now, I just want to come quickly to our reporters just for introductory comments. Now, Alok, I know there's been a lot of commentary on social media, everyone telling reporters how they should be doing their job, but what not most people know is that you've been reporting for 3 days non-stop for almost 16 hours. You've been out from your house at 5 a.m. and I think you get back home only at around midnight.
Well, Aarti, of course, this is the challenge for us, for all the reporters who are reporting, bringing the news from the grounds, just trying to shot each and every movement that is occurring in front of their eyes. And in fact, we were doing, and if we talk about my experience in the past 4 days that I am reporting continuously from the streets of Northeast Delhi, it was really tough for us because many times that we were asked to show our identity proofs. That was the most challenging part that we saw this time, because I have covered various riots also, in the previous riots also, previous incidents also, but in those places we were never asked to show our identity, and nobody asked us that from which channel and from which particularly want you to shoot. Means that what you want to show, if you are covering us, what you exactly want to show. So because everybody knew us that if media comes, that one channel has come, that means media comes. They didn't, in fact, never ask anybody that you are particularly from this channel or what channel. So this kind of categorization, this kind of what I can say that people are categorizing us that in various places where we went to report, and this is one of the most challenging part we faced during this whole violence incidents that we are covering. Back to you.
That's right, Alok. It's a sign of the changing times of, reporting in these times when in 2020 to be reporting. Now, you've covered riots over the years, and the challenges of reporting during riots is very different now compared to what it was earlier.
Very different, and I think one of the differences that Alok brought out was very significant, and I think the viewers need to understand what he was trying to say. When people were asking for identity papers, they were not just trying to check whether you're from media or not. They were also trying to check which side you're on, and I'm using the word which side within inverted quotes. I don't want to use any more words than to say that they were wanting to know which side, and that's possibly the worst thing that has happened over the last many decades, where we are now being expected to take sides in an institution. Like, the only side we take is that of the people who get killed or who get shot or who get injured in a mob like this, or who lose their property and their lives saving sometimes, a lot of robbing. And which is what I wanted to bring, over the next 1 hour or so, viewers. The one thing that we're going to do, we're going to list out 10 big challenges, and these are challenges that we'll try and explain to you why bringing the images of a riot are so challenging. Things that may appear very, very minute, very, very tiny, but are extremely critical. The first big thing which Alok alluded to, and I wanted to ask this question not just to Alok but also to Ayushman this time, how your identity, Ayushman, has become a big risk. That's the first big challenge. And when I use the word identity, I just don't mean the organization that you belong to, because as you know, a lot of journalists have been attacked from different organizations. This identity meant more than just the organization you belonged. In your view, and in your video journalist view, who was with you right now and have been very, very bravely and very, very fabulously bringing everything on to our viewers, wasn't this perhaps one of the most worrying and dangerous trends that you saw on the spot, Ayushman, quickly?
Vinay, taking things forward from what Alok said, the most difficult part would be seeing these people taking sticks in their hands, having their face covered with helmets on their head, and threatening not to shoot all those visuals which are evidently seen. And the worst part was not having the Delhi police or the police officials been around. There are barricades, there are people who don't want you to shoot all that you're seeing right now. And the most important thing is, when people are saying that if you shoot that, we'll make sure that your camera is either broken or the clip has to be deleted. So that not only poses risk to you, to your equipment, but also to your camera person and also to the person who is driving you, the driver or the vehicle that we are traveling in, because there is no security personnel around. And like what you said, the categorization has been done. People know that if you are there in Zafarabad or if you are there in Shiv Vihar, definitely you are saying something which is irking them, and then they are going to pose questions which you don't have answer, because you are reporting only what you're seeing, but they don't want that to happen.
Right now, before I come to your video journalist Ayushman, along with Ayushman are Imran Abbas and Manoj Singh. They've also been working tirelessly along with our reporters to bring us these stories. It's not been easy conditions to work under by any stretch of the imagination, but I just want to bring our viewers this footage. Now, This is when Ayushmann was reporting right next to a tire factory that was burning in Gopalpuri. Immediately once the cameras, as soon as his live was over, in fact, he was surrounded by a mob and they started heckling him, they started pushing him, they started questioning him. Take a look at this.
यहाँ से लेके चल चल ये भाई यहाँ से लेके चल निकल जल्दी चलो भाई चलो तुम्हें शर्म नहीं आती यहाँ पे आम आदमी जाओ माता की अरे जाइए जाओ आराम से चलो क्या दिखाना चाहते हो तुम ये क्या दिखाना चाहते हो सर आराम से यार ये गलत बात नहीं तुम्हें समझ में आ रही है तुम आम आदमी की फीलिंग समझो यार आराम से
ठीक है लाइव है
इन्हें डिलीट करो भैया
हाँ आराम से
करना डिलीट करो ये हेलो भाई डिलीट करो आपने भी जाके देखो
हाँ कर रहे बंद करे ठीक है बंद
भैया डिलीट कर
So this is an uncut version of what happened to Ayushmann and his video journalists who were there. And Imran Abbas and Manoj Singh are standing by with Ayushmann. Imran, पहले आपसे एक सवाल आपसे पूछना है, जब भी कोई इस तरीके का वाकया होता है किसी भी इलाके में, और आप लोग हमेशा कैमरे के पीछे होते हैं तो सामने नहीं दिखते हैं, लेकिन जब भी कोई ऐसा वाकया होता है जो पहली चीज़ जिसको लोग टारगेट करते हैं वो होता है कैमरा। और हमें ये मालूम है और हम ये दर्शकों को भी बताएंगे कि कैमरे को प्रोटेक्ट करते हैं कैमरामैन अपने आप से ज़्यादा बहुत बार, क्योंकि उन्हें पता होता है कि इसके अंदर वो चीज़ कैद है जो पूरी दुनिया देखना चाहती है। और ऐसी स्थिति में अपने आप को शांत रखना, अपने आप को कूल और काम रखना, ये बड़ा चैलेंजिंग होता होगा इमरान आपके लिए।
जी विनय जी, जैसे कि आप कह रहे थे और आयुष्मान ने बताया, कल काफ़ी हम लोग को जो है हर चीज़ का फेस भी करना पड़ा, मगर जो है हमने दंगे तो बहुत कवर किए यूपी के भी, और ख़ास करके जो है देश की राजधानी दिल्ली में, जहाँ पे जो है एकदम इतनी घनी बस्ती के अंदर बीच में इतना जो हम लोग ने कवर किया। और कुछ जगह पे हम लोग ऐसी जगह पे भी गए जहाँ पे जो है ना ये मेरा नाम ले पा रहे थे, ना मैं जो है इनका नाम ले पा रहा था। हम लोग ने वो अपने काम को भी किया, और 2-3 जगह ऐसी भी फेस करी गई जहाँ पे जो है वो लोग बोल भी रहते हैं, जो आपने क्लिप भी अभी प्ले किया था, तो डिलीट करो, कैमरा तोड़ देंगे, ऐसा कर देंगे, वैसा कर देंगे। तो उसने बोला भी लास्ट में जो है कि कैमरे के अंदर दिखाओ क्या रिकॉर्ड किया। मैंने पूरा भी बोला कि कैमरा जो ऑलरेडी ऑफ है, इसमें अंदर कुछ नहीं है, सिर्फ मेरा लाइव ही ऑन है। काफ़ी देर तक जब पब्लिक ने हम लोग को घेर लिया, फिर भी मैं पूरा जो है शूट करता रहा, रिकॉर्डिंग करता रहा कि आगे चल के यही मेरे लिए जो है काम भी आएगा, और आगे चल के यही हम कुछ जो है और लोगों को दिखा भी सकते हैं।
Now think about this, viewers. Imran, who's a video journalist, honest man who's doing his job professionally, something that the Delhi police did not do. He said something which is very significant. He's saying that when the team, I mean, obviously we work in teams, there is a cameraman and there is a reporter who work together. They weren't even taking each other's names. And I think most people will understand in between lines what that means. We have a situation now in 2020 where in the field, we are wary of taking each other's names because we know that we are going to get profiled on that ground. And that is not the kind of advertisement you need in the year 2020. मनोज, आपने भी, आपको बहुत तजुर्बा है इस तरीके के वाक़ियों को हैंडल करने का, और आपने बहुत सारे दंगे फसाद हैंडल किए होंगे। ये जो आपने आज दंगा देखा है पिछले 2-3 दिनों में, ये आपके जहन में क्या सबसे मुश्किल रहा है अभी तक, या दिल्ली में जितने दंगे हुए हैं उनमें से सबसे ज़्यादा गंभीर और सबसे ज़्यादा शॉकिंग जो वारदात हुई है वो आपके हिसाब से ये है?
हाँ, बेसिकली दोनों पक्षों का ये था कि जब कवर कर रहे थे तो उनका था कि कैमरे आप क्या शूट कर रहे हो, आप शाहीन बाग शूट किए, आप यहाँ शूट करने के लिए नहीं आए, आप काफ़ी जो शूट कर रहे हो आप वो हमें दिखाएं कि हमारे विपक्ष में या हमारे पक्ष में आप शूट कर रहे हो। काफ़ी लोग हमारे कैमरे पे हाथ मार रहे थे कि आप शूट मत करो हमें। सेम सेकेंड पक्ष का भी यही था कि आप जो शूट कर रहे हो आप मुझे दिखाओ, आप शूट जो कर रहे हो वो सही है या गलत है, उनका कहना था। हमने उनको बताया कि हम जो शूट कर रहे हैं वो हमारा वर्क है, हमारा काम है, हमें आप करने दो काम। लेकिन वो हमें काम करने से रोका उन्होंने काफ़ी कि ये शूट मत करो। फिर पुलिस के ऊपर भी काफ़ी पथराव वगैरह चालू हुआ, हमारे ऊपर भी पत्थर लगे, हमें भी काफ़ी सारे, कैमरे में चोट लगा, कैमरे के लेंस पे पत्थर लगे। ये है अभी तक का माहौल यहाँ का।
Because I can't emphasize enough the risk that we go through, the reporters, the video journalists go through to just bring us these stories, the visuals that you see on your screen, this is only because of these people and their efforts. Now, Alok, there was this one point of time, and I just want to bring our viewers, tell our viewers all of this story. There was this time when I called up Alok and said, we need you live at 4 p.m. Can you come out and do a live? He said, I really can't. I'm stuck in the middle of a flyover. On one end of a flyover is an angry mob. On the other end of the flyover is an angry mob. If I even pull out my camera, there will be stone pelting and I will get into a lot of trouble. Alok, that's the reality of covering a riot, isn't it? That you're risking your life every minute that you pull out your camera. That camera, which is your biggest strength, is also something that actually turns into a reason for many people across both sides to attack you.
Yes, Aarti, in fact, this happened yesterday, and Pradeep, who is with us, he was also present with me, and he was my camera person yesterday. And he was sitting at the back seat of the car. I was sitting, in fact, on the front seat. And at that point in time, we just went to the flyover because we were just looking for a place from where we can do a shoot, where these people, angry mob, are standing. At least we can get some glimpse of those people. We went to that Gokalpuri flyover. We were in fact on the Gokalpuri flyover also, that some persons with the sticks, they were also standing. So at that point in time, we just came out of the car and just we were just looking at those persons who were standing on the streets under the flyover. On the streets, those persons were standing with the sticks, with the muffled face, and they were just shouting and just calling the people that, and in fact, they were abusing the people as well. The other sections of the people, they were abusing. This kind of situation was at that point in time, and at the same time, you just called me and you asked me that you want the live. I just thought that if I come out and I will just start shooting it, then definitely they may harm us, because they were saying that you will not shoot anything, and it was not at all difficult to pull out the camera. It was difficult to pull out the mobile as well. We cannot at that point in time, we cannot open the mobile. So we immediately sat on the car back and we just started running from that place, and then after that we got some safer place from where I managed to give you the live at that point.
Yes, many times the camera actually ends up attracting crowds and attracting angry mobs as well. Now, Vinay, the thing is, a lot of people think Delhi is a national capital. There are broad roads. Coverage might actually be easy. But the fact is, as a result of Northeast Delhi and this geographic area is such that there are such narrow, congested lanes, that in itself poses a difficulty that not many people can even imagine.
Yes, and for the national audience, you know, the song that they sing, that they've seen in Bollywood and other films, which says Delhi, 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 there are these glitzy images of Connaught Place and such section. That's not really the entire Delhi. Northeast Delhi is very different from what you and I or most other people think Delhi is. And on that specific point, we come to challenge number 2. In places like Northeast Delhi, it's sometimes such a challenge in navigating the lanes, because you really don't know. The visual reference of that lane is barely 50 meters, which then it will turn and there will be a crossroad. If there is a mob which is standing on the other side of the crossroad, you possibly will not know it. And if you venture into that direction, there is a danger that you will possibly, you could possibly get trapped in it. And on that, this is exactly the point on which I wanted to ask Anil Arora. Anil, आपने नॉर्थ ईस्ट दिल्ली में इस बार तो कवरेज किया ही किया है, आप पहले भी अपने असाइनमेंट्स के दौरान ज़रूर गए होंगे नॉर्थ ईस्ट दिल्ली में, और वहाँ की जो इलाका है वो अपने आप में बहुत अजीब सा है. वहाँ पर बहुत तंग गलियाँ हैं, पतली रास्ते हैं, घर हैं ऊंचे से जिसमें लोग छतों पे खड़े होते हैं, और किस गली से किधर से कोई मॉब या क्राउड आ सकता है, इसका अंदाज़ा लगाना मुश्किल होता है, और ये अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज होगा. अनिल, अगर संक्षेप में आप इसका जवाब दे सकें तो.
It's too difficult to shoot this kind of a situation. Riots हैं और लोग unpredictably कहीं से भी आ सकते हैं. You never know. तो अपने आप को बचाना, to hide our identity is not possible because camera is with us. और अपने आप को टीम के साथ एक काम करना is very important. तो narrow lanes में with riots वाले situations में बहुत difficult रहता है अपने आप को. Safety is priority रहती है. But क्योंकि visuals लेने भी important हैं, तो ये सब काम साइमल्टेनियसली चलता है. इट्स लाइक
That's it. And as a result of these narrow lanes, Vinay, we can't really tell where the mob is coming from because the lanes are so narrow, they're congested, they're these winding roads. And we'll get to that point in just a bit, but I want to show you these visuals. Now, this is another example of how difficult it is to report in these circumstances. This is a video of Alok who was reporting in a narrow by-lane, and here you can see these visuals on your screen there. In fact, beyond him, where he's pointing out, is where there is a very narrow lane, at the end of which there is an angry mob.
I'd like to request my camera person to pan his camera and to show you that here you can see that there are some people are also standing there, and again police is appealing the media persons and also the other section of the people to stay away from the stone pelters. There you can see that the people are gathering, and they are in fact standing with the muffled face, and they have pelted stones. Here you can see large number of stone pelting has happened all around this area. If you see that this is connecting and joining road of Maujpur and Zafrabad, and here you can see the Babarpur Maujpur metro station near where this stone pelting has happened.
Now, Vinay, that leads us to our third big challenge of reporting in this. As a result of these narrow winding lanes, you can't really tell where the mob is coming from. You can take a right turn and you'll find an angry mob at the end of that. You'll take another turn and from the other end, there is another mob facing you as well.
That's right. And this is the next challenge that we are pointing out is something that the viewers may not fully understand, but I'll try and explain to them quickly in 30 seconds. The challenge that we are listing out, and the third challenge, which is why it was tough to find violent spots in Northeast Delhi. There is another challenge that comes in, which is deciding where to park your getaway car. Now, I am mentioning this together as challenge number 4 because both of them are slightly interconnected. And I'll tell you why. All reporters and VJs travel in a car to a hotspot. And in that hotspot, they have to decide where to leave the car because possibly you cannot drive around in a car in an area where mobs are attacking you. If you park your car too close to the scene of the action, the car may get targeted because in mobs, vehicles get targeted. If you park it too far, there is also a risk that you may not be able to reach it should you need to run or escape that area. And that becomes a big challenge. And on this point, Pradeep, मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाह रहा हूँ, बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि जब दंगाई आ रहे हैं दोनों तरफ से, आप और हम सब ये चाहते हैं और हम सब इस बात के लिए आप लोगों को हिदायत भी देते हैं कि अपना सुरक्षा बहुत अहम होती है, सुरक्षित रहना ज़रूरी है और वहाँ से निकलिए या हटिए, लेकिन निकलने और हटने के रास्ते कम होते हैं और आपकी जो गाड़ी है जिसमें आप लोग आते हैं वो थोड़ा दूर होती है. तो ये है छोटी सी बात, लेकिन दर्शकों को ये समझना ज़रूरी है कि गाड़ी कहाँ छोड़ें, ये भी अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ा निर्णय होता है. प्रदीप. प्रदीप, आपको आवाज आ रही है मेरी?
Yeah.
Pradeep, आप मेरे को सुन पा रहे हैं?
Mob psychology cannot be understood.
Yes, Pradeep, carry on.
Hello?
Yeah, carry on. We can hear you.
A friend can be an enemy and enemy can be our friend. तो हम लोग जब भी ये कवर करने के लिए जाता है तो हम लोग बहुत रिस्क लेके जाना पड़ता है कि अंदर में क्या होगा वो हम लोग को मालूम नहीं. तो मतलब पिछले मैं 3 दिन से कवर कर रहा हूँ, तो जब भी मैं कवर करने के लिए अंदर गया तो फिर सभी हम लोग को कैमरा देख के ही सभी पूछते हैं कहाँ से हो, कौन सा मीडिया से हो, और ये सब हमारा तरफ से दिखाना पड़ेगा, ये करना पड़ेगा, वो करना पड़ेगा. तो फिर कोई हमको ये भी बोलते हैं कि कैमरा तोड़ देंगे, आप लोग यहाँ से निकल जाओ. इट्स वेरी रिस्की. हम लोग अगर एक बार मतलब अंदर चले जाते हैं तो हम लोग ये सोचते हैं कि क्या होगा भगवान जाने, तो भगवान के नाम पे हम लोग अंदर से मतलब निकल के आने से वही हम लोग अपने आप को ये समझते हैं.
Now, what a lot of people don't realize is our reporters, our video journalists work for nearly 16 hours every day. There is no lunch break, there is no dinner break, there is no time to go and get a quick shower, nothing. You're reporting non-stop for 16 hours. And that brings us to a big challenge. We are living in a world where you have to constantly charge your cell phones. You have nothing to eat because all the shops are down. Reporting in a riot presents some very unique challenges, Vinay.
They do. And I wanted to show something to our viewers because I think a lot of viewers possibly think that a cameraman who is possibly the frontline person for any news channel is shooting something without much physical discomfort possibly, but I want to show them something. This is not something that a lot of viewers would have seen. I have with me right now here something called the LiveView unit. Now, why am I showing this to all of you viewers? And I'll tell you why I'm showing you this. This LiveView unit weighs about 6 kgs. This is not the only weight that a video journalist carries. There is a tripod that weighs around 5 kgs. There is also a camera, the P2 camera that we use, that also weighs around 2 kgs. So just think about it. A video journalist actually has about 10 to 12 kgs of weight on his back in the middle of a mob that's throwing stones at you. And at the same time, he's got to be alert about capturing every image that he can and bringing those images to you in your living rooms and drawing rooms or wherever you're watching. That brings into question the next challenge that we have. The equipment that we carry. The power bank, something as simple as that, because that allows us to remain connected with our teams which are out on the street, as Aarti said, for almost 16-17 hours. Even the food supply is not there at all because shops are shut and there is no water, there is no food. And even the shoes that they wear. If you're not wearing comfortable shoes, it's tough to get away. Remember, it's also a place where there are rocks and stones that are strewn all over the streets. So the shoes need to be able to take that too. It's a very simple thing. But remember, this is a day in the life of a normal VJ. And Alok, I'm sure the difficulty of being in a riot spot where there is no food, the shops are shut, there's no water, the equipment has to be carried around. You got to protect that equipment too. The protection, the footage is even more important. Is a challenge that you guys are mindful of. But I guess you guys are now veterans and you know how to deal with it.
I'm sorry, I just want to come in here and just tell our viewers a quick aside. I called up Alok and I said, do you want a lunch break this afternoon? And he said, I can't eat anywhere because there's no place here that is even open. So I don't have an option really to even if I take a lunch break, where do I go and get a meal?
Yes, Alok. So what did you do?
Yes, definitely, Aarti. And in fact, no option is left. Just to wait. The work is over and then we can eat. This is the time that we can. This is the only way that we can get a relief, and only water. Sometimes it happens that we are only staying on the water. And in fact, yesterday also, the same thing happened to me. I did not able to eat anywhere. In fact, my VJ Pradeep was also with me and he was again and again asking me, Alok sir, कब खाना खाएंगे? कहीं मिलेगा खाना हमें? हम कहाँ पर बैठेंगे? कुछ दिख रहा है आपको? मतलब like this that we were just discussing to each other. But I was just saying कि भाई अभी तो लाइव है, कितने सारे लाइव्स हैं, देख नहीं रहा कितनी सारी चीज़ें हो रही हैं, हमें कहाँ मिलेगा ये सारी चीज़ें? बिकॉज वी वर ट्रेवलिंग इन वेरियस प्लेसेस इन नॉर्थ ईस्ट दिल्ली, सो वी वर जस्ट ट्राइंग टू कलेक्ट व्हाट ऑल इज हैपनिंग ऑन द ग्राउंड. सो दैट इज़ द मोस्ट चैलेंजिंग पार्ट फॉर अस बिकॉज वी हैव टू ट्रेवल विद द इक्विपमेंट्स एज वेल. Sometimes we also help the VJs in carrying their tripods and live viewers as well. So yesterday also we did this, but definitely this is a big challenge for both of us to carry the equipments and in fact to live and to work without the food and water. Back to you.
Well, I promise you in another 45 minutes from now, I will allow all of you to pack up and hopefully you guys can go and get a good meal. I know it's been a long, challenging day like the past 3 days have been, but that's not the only challenge, Vinay. It's not too many people understand the difficulties in bringing and live reporting. They just think we can tweet about it, we're going to tell reporters how it's done, but they don't understand. Something as simple as shoes, what you were mentioning, a phone charger, a power bank, these are things that people don't even consider. Now imagine doing all these things on an empty stomach and reporting for 16 hours for 3 days non-stop.
Yes, and keeping your cool and composure. And all of the 6 people that you see on our screens, much like all the other media organizations that have been bringing. In fact, I must say this, and I'm sticking my neck out here to say this, that possibly the only institution that has wonderfully worked over the last 3 days is the media, because that's actually brought out the truth of what was happening in Northeast Delhi. I don't think many other institutions currently in Delhi have covered themselves in glory, and least of all the Delhi police, that has absolutely covered itself in shame. And we have absolutely no hesitation in saying that they've absolutely covered themselves in shame in the way they've handled this whole thing. But the journalists here, and some of our colleagues who've been injured. We know of a video journalist who was shot and who's battling for his life in a hospital currently. There is another reporter who was beaten up badly. He's lost 2 of his teeth, who's still injured. We've had lots of such instances. But one thing that I think viewers don't understand and appreciate, which Aarti, you were talking about and Alok was mentioning, is they start very early in the morning. They start between 5 and 6 possibly to do the first live at 6, 7. And then these lives happen relentlessly through the day. Every hour you need to give an update to the viewers because it is live television. And a lot of the decisions that we take in the newsrooms impacts their life. And that's our next big challenge. And remember, newsrooms are away from the actual spot.
Yep.
While we are watching the images on the screen and we are talking to the reporters constantly, we still cannot replicate what they experience on the ground.
And Vinay, I think I should make that candid admission here that me included, all of us sitting in the newsroom are very disconnected from the reality of what is happening. So when we call our reporters and say, chalo jaldi live chahiye, aadhe ghante mein, 15 minute mein, abhi chahiye, it's a little unrealistic, especially when you have an angry mob literally right next to you.
Absolutely. And that's why this is a question which is almost a self-indictment of the 2 of us sitting here, because we make the maximum calls to
I
the
think
6
we need to
of them.
brace ourselves for this answer.
and that's why I'll put that to Ayushman. Ayushman, how many times have you had issues dealing with instructions that come from Bombay or Delhi or whichever headquarter, where you were struggling to make us understand the difficulty on the ground, Ayushman?
Well, Vinay, if you talk about the difficulties, definitely when you have a live scheduled and that is a planned live and you have to be there, despite the fact that knowing the situation, there is you need the live visuals, you need people, you need to tell the situation, but you have got nothing to tell because nothing new is accessible to you, because the situation that is happening on the other side, you can only report to that. The best part remains in that also is that you can actually tell the viewers that this is this difficulty we are facing right now, and somewhere live television tells you that whatever difficulty you might be facing, the problem which is there in front of you is larger than that, and the live reporting is something that has to be done despite the fact that you might not be having food or water, but the thing that is there in front of you, like the fire we saw in the morning, that has to be reported first. Later these things can be taken care of.
That's right, and it's not just calls. And this is what happens. It's not just calls that we call our reporters and say, we need you live in the next 5 minutes. What also happens is we literally send them 10 messages every 5 minutes asking, ye khabar aayi hai, ye khabar hai, social media pe ye likha hai, wo likha hai, is this true, is this happening? So we are constantly being bombarded also with messages, including these calls, asking them to cross-check this information even when they might not be at the spot, or we're picking this up from social media. These are the rumors doing the rounds. Is it true?
Yes, and I must tell our viewers that, I think journalists and video cameramen journalists are possibly the most adept at reading and talking at the same time. So they have the unique capability of actually telling us the news even as they're reading off their phones on some of the messages that they may have sent to police officers, because remember, they're also expected to call police and other sources they have to find out what's the latest and get the official version on various things, besides the million other things that they need to do to track a story. And I think that's again something that viewers possibly do not appreciate, or a lot of people who criticize the media for what they do. Please remember, all of this is happening live and in real life situations. This is not a film shoot that is on or a set. The danger is real, and the example of the danger is in the number of injuries that the journalists have suffered and currently are in hospital. So it's not easy at all for any one of them to get you facts and cross-check them all at the same time while trying to actually even find what is happening and answer a lot of the questions that we always have to further a follow-up a story. One of the other challenges, Aarti, which brings us to the next one, and that is the 7th challenge, which possibly is even more important than any other challenge that I think we've faced, at least since the time that I have been reporting, which is this: why it is now extremely tough to distinguish facts from fake news. Because when you're on the field, a lot of people will come out and tell you a lot of things that may be exaggerated, sometimes untrue. But a reporter is duty bound to actually cross-check and follow that. And sometimes when several people say the same thing, you tend to believe that. But I think the reporters do a splendid job in actually being able to separate the fact from the fiction or the fake news and bring to you things very accurately. And that's actually a big challenge. And on this point, I wanted to ask Alok and, of course, his VJs, of course, who's standing along with him in case he wants to ask them as well. How tough is it to distinguish facts from fake news, because you get to talk to a lot of people and they walk up to you sometimes, or sometimes they tell you something angry in angry tones, but you're not sure whether they're telling you the absolute truth or they're exaggerating the facts, Alok.
Yes, exactly that. What you are saying, Vinay. This always happens because in the time of social media, it has become very much challenging for us to identify which news is correct. But it is the job of a reporter that to verify it, because whatever we are sending to our viewers, whatever we are sending to our newsroom, that will come out in that same way. And the point is that without verifying the facts, you should not do that. The first part is that, and to verify that if the thing is coming from any department, from any field, then you have to cross check it with the officers connected to it, with the departments connected to it, and if they give you the green signal, then only you should send it. Whether if the fact is delayed, it's okay, then the fact is being delayed, but you have to first the cross check it with the connected officer, with the connected department, then only you should tell it to the viewers. So this is the most challenging part, and sometimes we get late also in giving the news, giving the news, whatever is happening in front of us, or whatever is happening or whatever is coming on the social media. So this is the most challenging part, what I can say, among the other challenges that we face during the reporting.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask one question to Pradeep as well, because Pradeep, while there are a lot of pressures that are there on reporters to verify information and get the right information and get the facts right, video journalists have their own pressure. I mean, they have the pressure of not missing shots, and all of you work in a competitive environment. You all need to be on your toes all the time, and you need to be worried about missing something very critical. I mean, for instance, today the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval was there. Now, possibly no video journalist will allow his professional pride to come in the way of not being able to shoot what he's saying, because that's possibly the most important thing. How competitive does it get in the sense of actually being able to capture everything that you see on the ground in a very difficult situation, Pradeep?
See, it's very difficult to cover all this. हम जब भी कवर करने जाते हैं तो फिर हम हमेशा अपना रिपोर्टर जो है, मेरे साथ जो रिपोर्टर रहता है, उनको फॉलो करता हूँ. वो क्या लेना चाहता है, वो मतलब कौन सा चीज़ में ज़्यादा ये फोकस कर रहा है, तो मैं हमेशा वो हिसाब से मैं एक भी मेरा हिसाब मैं ये चाहता हूँ कि मेरा हाथ से कोई एक भी विजुअल्स मिस ना जाए. तो एंड इट्स वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट कि मेरा हाथ में आपका लगभग 10-15 किलो का कैमरा इक्विपमेंट्स रहता है, और हम कहीं भी निकल जाते हैं तो हमें मतलब वो देखना पड़ता है कि वहाँ से कैसे निकले, और सुबह से लेकर शाम तक.
प्रदीप जरा आप अनिल को भी पूछिए, दर्शकों को ये भी बताना बहुत ज़रूरी है कि बहुत बार हम जिसकी हमें बाइट लेनी है उसकी हाइट, हमारी हाइट, और हमारे आसपास जो बाकी वीडियो जर्नलिस्ट खड़े हैं या रिपोर्टर्स खड़े हैं या पुलिस वाले खड़े हैं, उनकी हाइट भी हमारे लिए कितना बड़ा बैरियर बन जाती है, क्योंकि शॉट कंस्ट्रक्ट करने के लिए आगे आपके कौन खड़ा है, ये एक बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट अहम मसला होता है. और भारत में स्पॉट्स पे सैकड़ों दर्जनों लोग घेर के खड़े हो जाते हैं किसी भी इंपॉर्टेंट आदमी को, तो बड़ा चैलेंज होता होगा अनिल इस चीज़ को शूट करना.
हाँ, ये तो बहुत चैलेंज होता है, क्योंकि देखिए मेरे से अगर कोई
दीजिएगा, अनिल से आप बोल दीजिए.
हाँ, मेरे से अगर कोई ऊंचा हो, मतलब ऊंचा आदमी हो, तो मैं कैमरा थोड़ा ऊपर करना पड़ता है, और कोई आदमी ऐसा है कि आपका लगभग 5-6 मिनट तक बोलते हैं, तो फिर मुझे मतलब प्रॉब्लम होता है कि पीछे लाइव व्यू लेके कवर करने के लिए.
अनिल आपसे खाली 1 इंच लंबे हैं तो ज़्यादा एडवांटेज नहीं है.
हाइट, सो इट्स हाँ, मेरे को थोड़ा सा एडवांटेज है 5'11" एंड, और मोस्टली ये होता है कि आई विल गेट द डिजायर्ड शॉट्स जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ माई हाइट्स. इट हेल्प्स मी अ लॉट. कई बार हम इस तरह की सिचुएशन में होते हैं कि सारी सेंसेस जो हैं ऑन रहनी पड़ती हैं कि आगे क्या हो रहा है, इट्स फाइन, पीछे क्या हो रहा है वो भी देखना पड़ता है. यू नेवर नो कि कहाँ से क्या रिएक्शन आए. सो इस तरह के वॉयलेंस वाली सिचुएशन में, सो बिकॉज हमारी आइडेंटिटी इज आवर कैमरा. वी कैन हाइड द आई कार्ड बट वी कांट हाइड द कैमरा. So our identity is our cameras. We can't hide with the camera.
That's really well said, Anil.
So
yeah.
challenging. Yeah.
No, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Exactly. And this is the difference between us and the print journalist also. Sometimes that print journalist, that they are just having
They
the
don't carry anything
copy
with
and
them,
pen,
yes.
and they are reporting,
Right.
and they don't have to tell, because and we are that electronic media journalists that they have to carry the equipment. So there is
No,
no possibility of hiding your identity.
Alok,
to
I think
get or
Anil
gather
summed it
the
up
news.
beautifully when he said your camera is your identity, and I don't think video journalists get the credit that they deserve, because what they do is actually really difficult. If I can just request Vinay to once again hold up that live view unit and show this is what
Yes.
it's around 6 kgs, as he was saying.
is
They're
6
wearing
kgs.
this. They're also, remember, holding a camera in their hand. They're walking backwards sometimes, they're walking forwards. They have this, they're holding the camera. And in a riot like this, you also have stones that are being pelted, and we have enough number of instances of that where both the reporter and the camera person are walking, and you have stones being pelted at you from both directions. You obviously can't see where that stone is coming, the trajectory of that stone, but you just have to keep going, hoping that that stone isn't going to hit you.
Yes, I just wanted to pull a little bit of Alok's leg. I mean, he's disowned his print background. He was a print reporter not very long back. He was also one of those who was not moving around with equipment, and life has changed for him. He's now in television, and he knows, now he appreciates the other side of the divide, I think, much better than he used to do
I
earlier.
can see the difference.
It's a big difference in his life too.
It's a learning experience, no doubt. I think covering a riot and just being in television is a whole different ball game, and
I'm
Alok
seeing
has
the
learned
difference.
that.
Correct. Yes, correct. I am seeing the difference.
Right now, when you're reporting, when you have these stones being pelted at you from either side, you are also surrounded by policemen who are trying to contain a situation. Now, they're also in the thick of action. They're also in the heat of things. They're not the most receptive, and either you're with your own presence or with the questions that you may ask them at that time.
Yes, look, on the spot, you need access to police, especially senior officers, because you need their versions. And I think there is a lot of push from newsrooms on reporters and video journalists to get officers on record, because that's always going to be a factual basis. You know, we just discussed how fake news and misinformation can be, can really spread. There's a lot of such misinformation is spread by people through social media, and the only way to verify this is to try and get the officer on record, whether the police has clamped section 144 or not, whether the curfew has been imposed or not, or things you need on camera. So one of the big challenges on the field, Aarti, which brings us to the next challenge, is where exactly is the police? Because remember, in areas like Northeast, there were stretches where you couldn't see any policemen at all. And you really need to find where those cops are and actually make those shots of whether they're doing any action, they're carrying out a lathi charge or a bait-in charge or a area domination exercise. You need to find them. And then comes the second part of it. Once you find them, you need to have the skill of not messing with riot cops. And I'm mentioning this because all the 6 people who are currently on our screen, on the channel right now, will tell you that messing with riot cops is dangerous, because they are on their edge, they are hostile, they can attack you as much as the mobs can attack you.
True.
And they don't bother before they hit. And we've had many instances where the police has gotten fairly violent and aggressive with the media as well, because they also want to hide a lot of things that they do, Ayushman. And I'm sure you faced some bit of that hostility when you were trying to shoot some of the stuff where the police didn't want you to show what was going around you.
Yes, Vinay, in fact, on this particular live also, we wanted to do it from the stretch of Karawal Nagar, where we found that almost 20 vehicles have been torched on a stretch of about 3 to 4 kilometers. And the police personnel had an objection to this. They said that if you stand here, we are not going to protect you. We are not here to protect you. We are only here to guide the kind of people who are gathering over here. We don't want to gather themselves. So if you are doing your live, you are at your own risk, and that was a bit difficult because we could not afford that, and that's why we came near to the Seelampur area where the police deployment is huge, Vinay.
In fact, we have a little clip for our viewers that will best encapsulate what Ayushman was just talking about. This is when Alok was just preparing for a live when the police came and interrupted him and asked him to move aside from that area. Have a look.
एकदम पीछे ही चले जाएंगे, बोलते बोलते पीछे जा रहे हैं सर. Situation is turning like a ground zero here at the Jafrabad area. We are reporting from where the violence happened yesterday, and today also the same sort of violence is happening. There you can see the stone pelting is still continued. There are a group of people who are, what we can say, most of them are anti-CAA protesters, and they are pelting stones at the police party. However, on the other side, I would like to...
And in that clip, you actually see Alok doing almost a 360 turn. He's walking this side, he's walking up, he's walking down, and along with him, the person you don't see doing that little exercise routine is also the video journalist.
That's right. And there is one other thing, viewers, that I want you to know, which is our challenge number 9. And that challenge is very, very specific to the video journalists, the 4 people. No disregard to what Alok and Ayushman do. But I must tell both of them that this is one skill that every video journalist must know, and without that, reportage cannot happen. And viewers, that skill is the ability to learn how to walk backwards. And I'll tell you why I'm saying so. Very often, you have to shoot when there is a patrolling party or a team of police officers is heading in your direction. You have to actually know how to walk backwards with that heavy equipment in hand. There is a 5 kg live view unit on your shoulder, there is a tripod, and there is also a camera unit, and they hold all of this and walk backwards. One other nuance that you must remember, they're walking backwards on streets and roads which sometimes have stones or rocks that have been thrown or glasses that have been broken. So you really need to know how to walk backwards in a situation like this and keep shooting and keep keeping the subjects in the frame. And on this point, I think we should definitely ask our video journalists. Abbas, Imran, आप जरा मुझे बताएं, आपने बहुत बार ऐसे शूट किया होगा जहां आपको उल्टा चलना पड़ा होगा और कैमरे से शूट करना पड़ा होगा. कितना मुश्किल होता है क्योंकि आपको दिख नहीं रहा है आप किस तरफ चल रहे हो, आप उल्टा चल रहे हो, देख सामने रहे हो लेकिन चल पीछे रहे हो, और ये वीडियो जर्नलिस्ट की एक बहुत बड़ी स्किल होती है. इमरान,
सही कह रहे हैं. जैसे कि हम लोग जो कभी कभार लाइफ में ऐसा होता है कि हम लोग पूरे पीछे चलते ही चले जा रहे हो, पीछे से जैसे जब बाइक जा रहे हैं कि उसमें हमको ये भी नहीं पता होता है कि पीछे जो है ईंट पड़ी है या कहीं पे गड्ढा है, और डायरेक्ट कंटिन्यू मेरा लाइफ जा रहा था, उसमें हम ना तो जो है लेफ्ट राइट होकर पैन कर सकते हैं और सिर्फ बैक चलते चलते पूरा जो है शूट निकालना होता है. फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी हमारा ये होता है कि अपना शूट अच्छा जाए और फर्स्ट ऑनियर जाए, और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा जो है कि हम लोग ये करते हैं कि चलते चलते हल्का सा लेफ्ट राइट देखते रहते हैं और बैक होते 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 पूरा लाइफ जो हमारा जाता रहता है.
ये जरा आपके साथ कभी ऐसा हुआ है कि आप उल्टा चल रहे हो, फ्रेम में रखना है चीज़ों को, और कोई चीज़ मिस हो गई हो या कुछ लड़ गए हो कहीं पे या गिर गए हो, ऐसा कभी हुआ है? मनोज,
थोड़ा मुश्किल तो है, लेकिन अभी तक तो ऐसा नहीं हुआ है. लेकिन हाँ, थोड़ा ख्याल रखना पड़ता है जब हम बैक की तरफ जाते हैं और हमें कुछ पीछे देख नहीं पाते हैं, क्योंकि हमारा पूरा फोकस विजुअल और रिपोर्टर के ऊपर होता है. तो हम फॉलो करना बस रखता है कि हम फॉलो करें और विजुअल से दिखाएं.
In fact, the video that you're seeing on your screen right now, while you can see Ayushman walking towards the camera, it's the video journalist who's actually walking backwards. And that's what they're actually telling you right now, that this road is strewn with stones, but without having to care for that, they just have to keep walking backwards. And it's quite a skill in itself, which a lot of us perhaps think it's not a big deal. But trust me, doing that kind of reporting, doing that kind of video journalism in these circumstances are extremely difficult, no doubt about that. And you almost become ninja-like, Vinay, because you have these skills that you have to develop, because you have to be constantly alert. You're walking up, down, you're doing all of this without food and water, plus you're working for 16 hours. You're trying to prevent yourselves from being either beaten up by an angry mob or a stone coming your way. Tear gas shells also being fired by the police. So you have to develop almost superhuman abilities and a skill set to be extremely alert.
Yes, and this alertness extends to one other thing, viewers, and I'm directly addressing the viewers again and again today, because I hope from tomorrow morning they'll be a little more appreciative of what the media, or especially the television media, does in bringing those images. And that skill is again something which might not get thought of as something important, but in a riot situation is extremely important. And that brings us to the last challenge, and that challenge is how knowledge of identifying sounds is a lifesaver. And I'll explain in 30 seconds what I mean. When you're standing at a riot spot, very often you're talking to somebody, or you're observing something, or you're shooting a live or doing something, you hear something. You may hear a roar of a mob, you may hear what sounds like a gunshot, you may hear the roar from one end, but it may be coming from another end too. And you have to take a decision basis the sound that you have heard. You have to take a decision whether you should go in that direction or head away from it, whether this shot that I heard was a gunshot or a tear gas shell, because remember, gunshots and tear gas shells can sometimes sound very identical and similar, and it looks like there is firing, but it may not be, it may just be tear gas. And that creates a new requirement. The sensory requirement of being able to hear and judge what could be happening is extremely critical. Ayushman, in your opinion and in your view, have you ever felt this way, that the sound that you heard in a distance played a part in a decision you took on whether to head in the direction or get away from it?
Exactly, Vinay. Even yesterday when we were standing, there was a sound coming from the other side, and many of the reporters who were standing there, they clearly said that it's a bullet fired, and again there were some who were saying that it is actually the tear gas being shelled. But in the evening we found that it was actually crackers being bursted on the other side of the road, and we did not venture into that area because police had clearly there is taking place on the other side in Jafrabad, and one should not venture there. So it remains that one must identify as to what is happening just by sensing the sound that you are getting, because when a mob chants, you need to identify. When stone pelting takes place, when the lathi charge is there, you get a kind of signal that you have to understand. It's basically instinct which you get, and if you are able to identify and differentiate between that, you can get the perfect view of what actually has to go on air.
Right, now what are the sounds of a riot? We have a little clip that will explain this to you, because you have sloganeering happening, you have a mob screaming and shouting, you have tear gas shells being fired, you have bullets being fired. These are just the sounds of a riot. Now, most people can't even distinguish between the sounds of a gun being fired, of a tear gas shell being fired, but that's a skill that all the reporters, the video journalists have acquired, and it's almost trial by fire for all of them, because they go into the field, they learn this. This is not a skill that is taught to you anywhere, but you go, you start reporting, and these are the lessons that you learned. And while we've just been talking about the physical challenges of reporting for these long hours under very trying circumstances, there is also an emotional toll that it takes on you, because at the end of the day, these reporters are human. The video journalists are human. They're as susceptible to emotions as anybody else. At the end of the day, they're watching somebody with their head burst open, blood pouring out of their faces. They're watching somebody being beaten up. They're watching people who have had their lives completely shattered when their homes are burned. And it's very hard to stay emotionally disconnected, Vinay, from this. They are human. They're not going to be robots and not feel that emotion. In fact, Alok, if I can come to you with this. Now, this afternoon, I saw you were doing a live. You were speaking to some women who had lost their homes. They had just come there. They had discovered that their houses had been burnt to the ground, and they were, unsurprisingly, completely distraught. And even you did get a little emotional in that live, and it's hard not to be for any reporter or any video journalist to see these sites unfolding.
Yes, Aarti, it happened with me, and in fact, I got emotional at that point in time, because it looks like that what kind of thing had happened to them, and they have lost each and everything, whatever valuables they had, they lost all those things. So definitely it happens to us, and many times we saw the visuals like the accident. We are reporting that somebody is crushed by the bus or something like that. We saw that kind of thing. But here comes the ethics of the journalism also, that what we are going to show and what we are not going to show. In fact, today while I was reporting, I saw that some person is bleeding, and he just came towards us. At that point in time, I in fact saw and I found out that we should not show it because he was bleeding. So that also a part of the journalist, that he need to care of it, because this is not the ethics of the journalism says, and about the emotional part, that we definitely have to think about whatever that we are showing to our viewers. And sometimes we also got emotional whenever any death has happened. People are crying. Many situations, these kinds of things that we always faced. But we have to just be a calm, and we always do that. Just we have to be a calm and just think about what is all happening and just report the way that is all happening. So this is also very important for us to keep in mind.
Right. Now, the visuals that I'm just going to play for you are the ones that Alok was referring to on how he got emotional when he was meeting these women whose lives have been destroyed as a result of these riots.
क्या है, आप कहाँ रहती हैं आप लोग?
पुलिया के पीछे 29 नंबर गली।
आपके घर को भी सारा तोड़ कर दिया?
कुछ भी नहीं मेरे घर दिखाते हैं हम लोग को तो खाने के लिए भी नहीं मिल रहा।
खाने के लिए भी कुछ नहीं पहुंचा आप लोग के पास? कुछ पुलिस वालों ने आप लोग को?
बच्चे तो कपड़े के लिए एक सज्जे बदन में कपड़े भी नहीं।
ये 4 दिन से फोन कर करके जब तक पूरा सोडा कर दिया घर तक पहुंचे पुलिस वाले
आपके पास, आप लोग 2 दिन से पुलिस वालों को बुला रहे थे?
3 दिन से दिन हो गए कि कोई नहीं से मेरा सुना।
कल इस टाइम तक 10 बजे तक नहीं जला था, 10 बजे के बाद लोगों ने जलाया।
जी कुछ भी नहीं बचा सर,
कुछ भी नहीं बचा।
बहुत सर जी, ना डॉक्यूमेंट्स ना कुछ, गाड़ी वाड़ी सर जी कुछ नहीं बचा हमारा।
आप कौन से गली में रहती हैं?
इसी गली में रहते हैं भैया, बर्बाद हो गए।
आप अभी घर देखने के लिए जा रहे थे?
बर्बाद कर दिया।
ठीक है, पुलिस काफी देर में पहुंची यहाँ पर।
गली नंबर 29 428 में मैं जान, मेरा कुछ भी नहीं बचा, सारा जल के खाक हो गया भैया, कुछ भी नहीं बचा। मैं तो किराए पर बहुत दिन से रह रही थी, इधर ही 2 साल हुआ मकान के लिए, कुछ भी नहीं बचा।
आप लोग को मारा भी था?
मुझे तो नहीं मारा, लड़के सबको मारा।
I've taken a 1 or a 2 second pause so that it sinks into you, viewers. This is what a reporter does every hour when he meets people who are distressed and distraught. And we wanted you to show what they go through. We kept it for the last because we are not supposed to let our emotions come in the way of what we are supposed to do, which is cover and bring you the story. Before we wrap up, I really wanted to say, on behalf of everybody here at Mirror Now, a very, very big thank you to Anil Arora, Pradeep Kalita, to Imran Abbas and Manoj Singh, because you guys are the warriors who work behind the scenes, don't get watched very often, the viewers don't get to know you, but are pretty much the main army for any news broadcaster. Today, you're also representing the community of the media, which has been bringing this story for the last 3 days and possibly will keep bringing till situation normalizes in that part of the city. So thank you very much, all 4 of you, as well as to Ayushman and Alok, who've been battling and working almost 16 to 18 hours, much like our video journalists over the last 3 days.
And to all 6 of you, a big, big thank you. And the news that you've all been waiting for, you can finally pack up after a long, long day.
Good night.